Hey everybody, this is Tartle at the Duke. My name is Gina DeLuca, and I am your host tonight, along with Sarah Ashley, who will be doing tech, and who knows, maybe popping on once in a while to say hey. Okay, so we have amazing readers tonight. We have, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 readers plus me and Sarah. So it's going to be a great show. We have a couple announcements. So this week, please look for an announcement on workshops we're doing. We'll announce, I think I'll be doing probably a 1-month workshop on writing and reading the humorous narrative. And I know Sarah has an idea for a workshop she wants to do. So we'll probably start those at the end of January. So yeah, look for that announcement and how you can sign up. And that's it, I think. I hope everybody had a great New Year and a happy holiday. And so that's it. Let's get started with our first reader, Perry Carter. Perry, take it away.
Thank you. It's so good to be with you tonight at Tartle at the Duke. Sorry, what? What? The word is tartle? What it? But my whole... Can I still read my thing? What an honor it is to speak before my fellow Chicagoland area herpetology heads. When I was asked to address you folks tonight, I thought to myself, this can't be right. I'm no hero in a half shell. I'm just Perry, and that's with a P, as in pancake tortoise. A little about me. I'm the proud mom of 2 red-eared sliders. Franklin, Bowser, you 2 go to bed, or I'll take away your heat lamp. No, I won't do that. That would be bad for them. Speaking of heat lamps, it's a chilly night out there. Can you believe this show used to be outside? I sure hope there weren't any ectotherms in the audience. See, you're probably wondering, who's the greatest turtle that has ever lived? And well, I'm not sure I can help you with that one, because if you ask me, terrapin too many. Well, 2020 is over. I know, I'm furious too, because according to the Chinese zodiac, 2020 was the year of the turtle. I know. And the next one isn't till stupid 2032. If I had one wish, it would be to relive every single day of 2020. Man, you don't know what you got till it's gone. Ever since November, people keep asking me who I supported in the race. And I'm like, same as always. The tortoise, duh. The hare is clearly a villain. And he withdrew us from the Paris Climate Agreement. Anyway, I'm glad my guy won. In this day and age, it's so important to stay informed and to protect the truth, which is why I'd like to give a big round of applause, all of us, even if you're at home, to the hardworking journalists at Reptiles magazine. Yep, congrats to them and thank you. I commend them not only for their bravery, but also for the great tote bags they send at the holidays. I just got mine for this year via DHL. It's hanging on the back of my door. Another funny thing about me is people love to play me in Mario Kart. It's because when I get a blue shell, I use it on myself because I consider it a privilege. It's been nice to work from home, but I do kind of miss office life. I called the office my business terrarium. I even miss when my coworkers would complain about forgetting to do their time entry, and I would tell them, come on, you guys, just log ahead. Believe it or not, I can't snap. Even though I've practiced and watched tons of videos of snapping turtles in the wild, I can't do it. Watch this. See, I'm terrible at it. Maybe when I get the surgery to unhinge my jaw, I'll be better. Who's my celebrity crush? Easy. Johnny Knoxville as Leonardo in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, aka the 15th highest grossing movie of 2014. Would I risk contracting salmonella to make out with him? You bet I would, because honestly, what's one more time? Speaking of crushes, I have been dating during COVID. So send me a DM if you want to grab something to eat sometime. You could always go for some dehydrated crickets or Reptomin. Speaking of the new year, one of my resolutions this year is to drink more water from the estuary near my house. But you know me, I still like to have the odd glass of Ramona Pinot because you know I love my turtle time. It's been a pleasure to be with you tonight, but it's time for me to go. I'd love to hang out with you guys for the lifespan of a giant Galapagos tortoise, aka 170 years. Wait, Franklin, Bowser, boys. Mommy said to share your floating rock. I'm coming over there. That is quite enough. I try to do one thing.
Thank you so much, Perry. That was great. I didn't know turtles got salmonella. That makes me sad. Did you know that? Okay. Okay. Mike Garrity says that he did actually know that. But yes, just a reminder, yeah, this is Tartle at the Duke and not Turtle at the Duke, but we do appreciate you, Perry. Next up, we do have Avery McClure. So let's give a big round of applause in the chat for Perry and welcome Avery to the stage. Thank you.
Thanks, Gina. Hey, everybody. Thanks for coming out virtually. So I wanted to cover 10 ways to indicate your location when dropping a pin seems a little calculated. Sometimes a friend calls you up and says, where are you? You have some options. You could drop a pin. Technology really makes that easy. Or if you want to be kind of mysterious and enigmatic, you could do a couple other things. So here are 10 ways to indicate your location when dropping a pin seems a little calculated. Avery, where are you? I'm where the sun ignites the clouds. I'm in a wardrobe. Hold on. Maybe a forest? I'm marching around the city with a trumpet, waiting for it to collapse. Avery, where are you? I'm courtside at the Lakers. I'm on the God-blessed broken road that'll lead me straight to you. You can kind of launch into the song. Every long lost sin, let me to. You can sing the song for your friend. Avery, where are you? I'm trapped in this capitalistic cage. I'm at Starbucks. I'm in the folklorian woods. We just kept riding. I'm somewhere you'd never expect. But I'm right where you left me. Those are 10 fun ways to indicate location when dropping a pin seems too calculated. You can use those at your discretion, and don't move around too much in COVID times. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Avery. That was short and sweet, and we loved it. Let's please give it up for Avery in the chat. Big round of applause. Our next reader is Ida Cutler. Welcome, Ida.
Hi. Hello. There's this completely idiotic thing I do almost every night where I will take out my contact lenses before I remember where I've left my glasses. I wander about the house searching for them, and I'm pretty blind, so it's pretty hard. I've heard of a special vessel invented by a genius person specifically designed to help people avoid this problem. It's called the glasses case, and I have one. I think I have two. I might have three. I have 100 glasses cases, but my glasses never seem to be in any of them. Why? It's simple. I never put them in there. Right now, you're undoubtedly thinking to yourself the phrase, at least. As in, if she doesn't use a glasses case, she could at least keep her glasses in the same place and make that place near to where she takes off the contact lenses. But I just don't have that foresight. Pun intended. It's not a pun. Moving on. Or maybe you have some helpful and well-meaning advice for me, which I will listen to in extreme earnest, only to actively and aggressively ignore it. The same person that you are wants to say, Ida, why not take the 2 extra seconds to put your contact lenses back in to look for your glasses? And the insane person that I am will tell you, I've never been one to retrace my steps. I prefer to live my life like the little super soldier marching on for battle, a little invisible commander shouting forward, always forward at me, and I comply, hoping to earn 1 purple star of stubbornness and idiocy. An example of this are all of the times I have forgotten my keys on my way to work. I do not turn around, no matter how close I am to home, when I notice their absence. I can't tell you how many texts I've composed to roommates from my very own front door that say, oh no, I've forgotten my keys again. Will you leave one out for me when I'm home from work today? Thanks. We can hear you out there. None of them have ever texted back, and for that, I am grateful. Another reason I won't put the contacts back in is that I already have to touch my eyeballs 2 times a day. A third and then subsequently 4th time as I put the contacts in to find the glasses, and then take out the lenses. That just seems like too much eyeball touching. Not to mention my contacts are dailies and you are supposed to throw those shits out as soon as you slide them off your pupils. A rule that I have failed to follow for nearly all of my blind ass adult years. In my bathroom right now, I still have 6 boxes of single daily use contacts. 6 remaining out of the 12 100 count boxes I bought in 2015, stocking up when I was still on my parents' insurance. 2015. I haven't bought contacts since 2015, and I have no explanation for this other than I am a stingy human whose fresh baby brain was lobotomized in the hospital and then replaced with the cryogenically frozen and then thawed out brain of an orphan during the Great Depression. For 5 years, I wore contact lenses that you are only supposed to wear for 8 hours for like 8 consecutive weeks, sometimes more. And it's a miracle that my eyeballs don't permanently look like Arnold Schwarzenegger's eyeballs from that last scene in Total Recall when all the oxygen goes away and all the glass in the alien diner breaks and like there's lava and shit. I've been doing a lot better lately with throwing out my contact lenses after confessing all of this to an eye doctor. She told me how expensive eye surgery is, and I puked, and then I fainted, and then I puked again. But her scare tactic worked because I left her office, bought eye drops, and now instead of placing these plastic circles into a case for them to harden overnight, I place them into the trash. And each time I do, I feel like I am throwing out gold. So, where does that leave us? To recap, I'm not going to fish through the tampon trash to get the old pair and put them in and get some weird pink eye. But I'm also not going to take out a fresh new pair and the bank loan required to pay for that. So there's only one more option. Throw a fucking fit. If I had to guess, the searching for my glasses sessions takes about 2 minutes. But those 2 minutes are a lifetime when you are as hard on yourself as I am. 2 minutes is all I need to turn the assessment of glasses misplacement from simple accident into severe chronic character flaw diagnosis. I yell at myself, curse at myself. I go hard and loud. Soon the yells become groans. Have you ever watched a video on YouTube of Tuvan or Inuit throat singing? The groans sound nothing like that. They sound like the video that comes on after, which is an extremely problematic white person offensively parodying those groans. He is doing a bad job, and so am I. The groans are only slowing me down in this hunt, which only makes me double down on the self-loathing. When there is no more space in my heart or lungs to blame myself, I will turn my wrath onto my kind, sweet, and innocent partner. I will ask him, why aren't you helping me? When in fact, the whole time, he has been actively helping me. I do not notice. I'm in a dark place. Pun intended. Not making puns, but you get what I'm saying. I can't see. I scold him as the two of us look in the medicine cabinet drawer for what feels like the 900 billionth time, but might only be the first. Whereas before it was my goal to just find these glasses, it is now my goal to deflect all responsibility. I'll tell him, you're the one with 20/20 vision. You need to be stronger for the both of us. You're the one who should be watching and knowing where I put my own shit at all times. I'm sorry, my partner says softly. Why are you yelling at me? I'll shout back. Then I lay face down on the floor while he carefully steps over my prostrate wailing body to go remove all of the sharp objects we own and cook something for dinner, which is good for 2 reasons. 1, I can replenish my energy levels for a longer tantrum, and 2, the stove is being occupied so I can't use it to kill myself. 2 minutes is all it takes to cover of anamorph myself into a monster. I am a monster, a full-blown monster. But it is this monster state, while catalyzed by something highly specific to my life, that doesn't look too different from what I believe to be the ways that each one of us behaves on the first few days of the new year. I know, that's a harsh transition, but stay with me. December 31st rolls around and we're all angry at ourselves for what we have not yet found. Where is the exercise routine that is so perfect it will make me prioritize it over staring at a wall? Where is that book to read that will make me not a racist, alcoholic, homophobic, misogynist anymore? Where are my Instagram friends in real life? And why are they not helping me bake the breads and grow the gardens they made me bake and grow by posting pictures of them? Where? January 1st rolls around and all of us begin running into the same sharp corners of self-deprecation and blame, squinting at our little worlds in dismay and frustration, ignoring practical, sane advice from well-meaning listeners and scorning help from loved ones in favor of the societally valued bootstrappy approach to toughing it out. Every New Year's resolution I've ever heard seems to me to be born out of huge disproportional responses to teeny tiny little inconveniences. We are encouraged by this nationally recognized holiday to look at our surroundings with the lowest of visions and stubbornness of attitudes. The year stumbles on and we spend it not being able to see clearly. And if we could, we might have to notice all of this shit we can, I know, barf, feel grateful for. Don't worry, I'm not going to leave you with the things that I'm grateful for 2020 or recommend that you get a bullet journal or download a mindfulness app. I'm a monster, but not that kind of monster. Instead, I'll just tell you that when I find my glasses, and I always do, I put them on and get into bed, apologize to my partner, Google contact lens coupons, and promise myself and God that this will be the last time I do this. Forget where my glasses are, overreact, make promises I can't keep. It never is. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ida. That was great. I think we're all proud of you for throwing out those things. Um, yeah, that sounds like a nightmare. But way to go. And let's give her a big round of applause in the chat. And our next reader is one of my favorites, Danielle Bluford. Please welcome Danielle.
Thanks, ladies. Thanks, everyone, for being here. What a treat. All right, so my essay is called Humbly Election Stuff. Yeah, so here we go. Early in November of 2016, I was able to finagle my way onto the Cards Against Humanity bus in their efforts to canvass for Hillary Clinton for the day in Iowa City. It meant a 3+ hour drive from Chicago, where I passed out on a luxuriously cush bus and enjoyed the delightful free lunch they provided us. Once we got there, we walked around a neighborhood, willing yet unsure how actually able we were to talk to the on-the-fence voters about why they should vote for HRC. I think I maybe talked to one person the whole day, mostly just bonding with the other volunteers. Lucky for me, I had a friend who actually lived in Iowa City for grad school, so while we had a delightfully, again, free dinner at a hip pub, during the downtime my friend and her pals came to visit and we got to hang. Then we drove the bus back to Chicago, where I passed out again and had a great nap, and Hillary lost. And so it goes, my efforts were clearly not enough. I silently vowed that I would do more, whatever it took, to beat 45 at his own game when the 2020 election came, and I did my best to at least increase my efforts from 2016. It was a low bar. I started making calls in the summer and whatever downtime I could, starting broadly. I called Texas voters, very scary, and was screamed at multiple times on the phone. People told me they were rednecks and just would vote how they were going to vote. They would spew lies at me and tell me Biden was a baby killer or other heinous, hurtful words I've tried to block from my conscious memory. They called me a gun-hating socialist, which maybe I am, and the sound of shouting back at me would often be so loud I would curse myself for not removing my headphones fast enough, the pain stinging even after I would catch my breath. I called voters in Florida, Michigan, and even North Carolina too, a place I'm not sure I even have plans to visit this next decade. Sometimes the calls were rough, or you'd just get hung up on, understandable, because as the closer the election drew, the more texts, calls, and emails infiltrated even the average citizen's inbox. I wasn't sure I was really even doing anything on these calls, phone banking. Sometimes it just seemed people's minds were already made up the other way. It felt like perhaps I was just stroking my own ego and making my lately high anxiety self sleep better at night for feeling involved. After a few calls to Texas voters ended in screams one evening, I logged off the online portal after 20 minutes of my 3-hour shift. I had had enough. The app called Mobilize would text me later that night, this is a regular occurrence, to follow up, and a robot would ask me how my shift was. Please reply with good, bad, or missed about your calling voters. Bad was my reply on more than one occasion, bot asking for me to explain further. I would just ghost and not reply, not having enough stamina to explain to a bot exactly what an asshole had said to me, or why it hurt so much to have a woman on the other end tell me they were voting for the enemy through screams and then hang up on me. It just seemed better to be brief. There were moments where I felt very connected to the voters on the other end of my phone. It was pretty cool, like I was doing something that in a low-key way I was kind of meant to do. When the voters were with me and on the same team, it was great. It would be like a beyond magical high five because they were voting the way I wanted them to, and they were voting for better. The highlights of my average great call would sound something like this. You got your ballot? Great. Okay, Democrats up and down the ticket? Yep. Okay, here's who we recommend for the nonpartisan section. Oh, I know, I can't wait to vote him out too. I'm with you. He's the worst. I know, the worst, just garbage. There's no one worse. There are no worse humans. I agree. Literal garbage. I would set him on fire too if I could. Okay, and your ballot. Are you taking it to the drop box or to the clerk's office? Oh, you're gonna walk it into the clerk. Good for you. Good thinking. And do you know where to go for that? Amazing, amazing. When you're dropping it off, when are you taking it to drop off? Tomorrow? Perfect. Doris, you rock. You're amazing. Thank you so much for being on top of it. And stay safe to you and your family too. Take care. What a delight the average Doris, Mary, or the very occasional Michael would be. I would reward myself with a bathroom break and check Instagram for doing such a good job as a citizen, learning how much more the world had crumbled since I turned away. I spoke to Maureen, an older woman from Michigan who was so kind. She spoke slowly and had just begun recovering from a stroke. She told me she wanted to help and do more from where she could while she was safe at home and recovering, and thanked me for reaching out to voters because she couldn't. She agreed that there were too many crazies out there, and I led into the nastiness that could sometimes occur over the phone. But she told me, think of me whenever that happens to you. We're going to be okay. And there were many times throughout the course of the months I was involved that I did think of Maureen, and truly it helped. My months of free labor for the Democratic Party were oddly juxtaposed with my position, sort of last minute, to be a poll worker nearby my parents' house where I grew up in suburban Detroit. It was wild. I wore 3 masks and a staff t-shirt and even ran into my elementary school crush who had no idea who I was. To be fair, I wouldn't have recognized me either. That did kind of bum me out, but I was too busy being frantic and nervous all morning that I was going to get shot in honor of someone's angry quest for freedom and their unwillingness to be told what to do by a female governor. I assumed that any crazies that might walk through the door would immediately come after me. I wrote down my passwords just in case. It would have been a sad day for my family had that happened because they seemed to really like me, but I was angry and more fearful that if I didn't show up, it would be worse for the world. I guess it didn't hit me until the voters started showing up that they do listen to their leader, and if you're voting for the other guy, you mostly show up on election day. Even in this blue residential county, they showed up for him that day, and it was palpable. Michigan has a rule that you cannot wear voter swag to the polls, and we had to ask someone to put their red hat in their bag. We had to encourage people to better affix their mask to their face and nose, and even offer them one if they didn't enter in the precinct with one on. Shockingly, like my mother, it's unclear to me how anyone could forget to wear their mask at this point in the pandemic, but without a reminder, but I digress. I was appreciative of the diversity of the area after growing up here and being away for years. Most recently, this is the longest amount of time I've been home in my hometown. I truly was appreciative of all the different kinds of people that walk through the door. But it didn't hurt any less when I overheard voters too loudly telling a pal or a cousin they brought with who they were voting for, and it was that man. A certain type of voter would walk in, and context clues immediately give you information confirming who you believe they are voting for and what they are about. This guy, he wore a mask with another face on it. I think this face had a mustache, even though no hair was growing from this man's head. His mask kept slipping down his nose like he didn't wear one very often and wasn't sure how to do it. He wore a shirt that said America with the basically dead flag of the USA flapping in the breeze. When he checked in, he was a little too chummy for comfort. It was off-putting. To my table, a fellow poll working staff, many of whom were recent immigrants themselves, and then proceeded to likely vote to take their rights away in front of us. The process was incredibly private for each voter, but like I said, sometimes you could just tell who someone was voting for. Not always, but on election day proper, it was an easier guess. And even as our team of poll workers moved around the room like a crew of stunt doubles and Batman, quickly sanitizing booths for the next voter, I kept turning my body to position it so as not to see someone's ballot. They deserve their privacy, and I could feel the anger build up in my heart at the mere thought of accidentally glancing to see someone vote for the demon. I don't think I would have been able to handle it. The hardest was the time I saw a father come in with his young daughter. I'm sure it was her first election as she barely looked a day over 14. I'm small too, so I get it. She was probably 18. They sat next to each other in the voting booths we had set up, these ones at a long table. And though, ironically, they both wore masks, he was sure to shout through it to her, Derfold Schrump. Sorry, guys, I just can't say his name. And I got angry. It was one thing for someone to use their vote for themselves in that way, but it was another to take over his own daughters to get what he wanted. The rest of us only get one vote. How come he essentially got 2? And in the end, the daughter has to fill in completely and darken her own bubbles with only a black or blue ink pen. So I don't really know what she decided. I was too busy sanitizing pens and secrecy sleeves to accidentally trip him on the way out, but can't say I didn't at least think about it. The end.
Danielle, thank you so much for reading that. That was great and so funny. I love hearing about all the people you met, especially I want to hear a spin-off essay about your crush. So maybe you could submit that next time. Anyway, thanks so much. Everybody, let's please give her a round of applause in the chat and welcome our next reader, Carolyn Ten Eyck.
Hello. I'm reading a piece that's called Perks for Renewing Your Gym Membership. We miss you. Dear Miss Gregg, we know you haven't been a member for 9 months. We miss you. While the vaccine hasn't yet reached our little corner of the world, a gym that's mostly concrete, we're taking many precautions to ensure the safety and well-being of our members. Should you return, we would be delighted to bump your membership tier up to the premium level at Silver Fitness Club. When you come in, please stop by the front desk to celebrate your new subscription and receive your new key to the members-only lounge. By investing in us, you're investing in your health. Here at Silver, we believe that fitness should be fun and have nothing to do with the novel coronavirus or death in general. As a premium member, we'll do our utmost to make sure you're having a good time all the time. We hope you enjoy all the benefits we've added to your account and are sure they will outweigh any viral contagion concerns at this time. Here's what we have for you, should you choose to return. Silvio. Every premium member gets their very own personal trainer, and yours is Silvio. Silvio has some of the largest muscles that I personally have ever seen, and he can also fill up water bottles without spilling a drop on the floor. You'll recognize Silvio from his workout tank that says Silvio on the front, as well as from his very large muscles. If you're feeling tired or bored, Silvio can do star jumps while you watch for up to 50 minutes. Silvio's only flaw is that his big muscles sink him to the bottom of our Olympic-sized pool every time he gets in, so he becomes very agitated when near the water and needs to wear a life jacket at all times. The members-only lounge. The lounge is located on the 3rd floor of the gym, and make sure to bring your key because it's locked at all times to keep out non-members. There, you're welcome to take your shoes off and plunge your toes into the thick, snowy carpet while chatting with other premium members. Or enjoy our state-of-the-art karaoke machine that handpicks which song you could perform based on an algorithm, which takes into account both your body mass index and your net worth. Additionally, the members-only lounge is a lawless zone, which means you can commit any and all crimes you want without persecution, though we ask that you try to keep fluids off the carpet to keep it looking fresh and attractive under a blacklight during our monthly highlighter parties. The wine fountain. In the center of a dense thicket of ellipticals, to the left of the weight room is our wine fountain, an antique bubbler that our engineers spent years developing to spurt room temp Cabernet Sauvignon 24/7. Fill up one of our complimentary wine glasses, or 2, who's judging, and enjoy. On Fridays, the wine fountain has been known to produce a small spout of Pinot Grigio, and we're not really sure how that's possible. And if you want water, just ask Silvio to fill up your bottle for you. He's a true professional. Complimentary t-shirts. Want a free t-shirt? Just ask at the front desk, and the receptionist will immediately take off their t-shirt and give it to you. No need to give them your shirt in exchange. All our receptionists are taught to bring several spares from home, which also gives you, the premium member, options if you still want a free t-shirt but hate what the receptionist is wearing today. The fighting pit. Walk down 7 flights of fluorescently lit stairs and you'll find our premium fighting pit. Fully equipped with a floor of coarse sand and buckets of large gold coins for placing reckless bets on fighters. If you want to spar yourself, you'll be able to pick your opponent from a lineup of our weakest employees, including 18-year-old Jacob, our newest member of the custodial staff. Jacob is weak as hell and barely puts up a fight anymore. If you want Silvio to fight for you, he will, as long as his opponent does not have blue eyes, which remind him of the unknowable depths of the ocean. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Carolyn. That was so funny. Yeah, wow, poor Silvio, huh? Yeah, I really, really liked that. Thank you so much for reading it. And let's please welcome our next reader, Linda Orr.
All right, here we go. This is a message to Ida Cutler because I created this character years ago and her name is Iris Cutter. So anyway, they're very similar. Your name always has a special place in my heart. All right, here we go. September 24th. This morning proved to be a true breakthrough and will undoubtedly go down as one of the most significant days in American history. Today is the day that I've invented the biggest thing to happen to coffee since Starbucks. It's espresso. Espresso elevates your coffee drinking pleasure by becoming an interactive social experience. No longer will we walk into a coffee shop, receive our coffee, and go. Now our coffee break is another opportunity to let the world know exactly how we're feeling in that exact moment. I have invented stickers that are meant to be adhered to your coffee cup. The stickers come pre-printed with the following: I feel blank. And then you just populate the blank with your expression, take a selfie while drinking your coffee, and post it to your social media sites. Boom, it's espresso. I've been walking around all day feeling reinvigorated, which is a welcome respite. Instead of occupying my days thinking about Orange, I have decided that I shall create a blueprint on how to start your own company and transform it into one of the most powerful and revered companies in the world. This will be my legacy, My Success to Journey by Iris Cutter. September 26. I made it into work today. After my days of absence, I arrived to a hideous little flower pot that someone had placed on my desk with a message growing out of it, as if it were a plant, and it was just stating, "Hope you feel better." I have my suspicions that this is a little gift from the slender-fingered Eric, who I'd rather not date. So to be on the safe side, I have placed the faux flower pot on the bottom of my trash container and have feverishly covered it with miscellaneous paperwork and a half-eaten burrito. After I arrived home from work, I brainstormed further on espresso. I must carefully consider whether to call my stickers espresso or express-o. September 28th. I am floating down the river of death. Nothing could be worse than the feeling I have in my head, heart, and pit of my stomach. My best friend Tamar informed me that my ex-lover Orange was out on a date with the vile Christy Calm last night. I pressed as to where she heard this malodorous rumor, and she rather enthusiastically informed me that it was all over Christy's Facebook page. I logged into Facebook and immediately found Christy's insipid little status update that she and Orange were at a play starring Jimmy Smits. I'm totally crushed by this development of Orange's and my love story. And you know what? Orange knows how much I detest Christy. She has perpetrated a long list of unforgivables against me, starting from high school, when she tactfully announced that the coarse black curly hairs on my beach towel were pubic hairs. In fact, those hairs were actually fur from my dog. Nevertheless, her impartation was the catalyst for the torturous nickname of Muff Puff, a name that not only invalidated all potential of me being named prom queen, but also required me to throw away my high school yearbook due to the high volume of people that used this inhumane name in their salutations. I had long thought that my senior yearbook would be a treasure trove of memories. I carefully selected just the right extracurricular activities and clubs to belong to so that my posterity could be proud of me when they were looking through the pages. I even paid extra to have my name foil embossed on the lower right-hand cover. And all that work I put into my senior year was tarnished when I arrived home after the yearbook signing social and I noticed all the Muff Puff references. I cannot stop crying. I am only slightly comforted by the fact that Orange had to spend hours with Christy, requiring him to carefully listen to all her whining and vapid musings on how close she is to suicide. September 29th. 7 a.m. arrived too quickly, and despite my agonizing heartache, I made it into work, and I left the weekend auto attendant on the phone at the office because I needed to lament exactly how I should handle this Orange situation. While I scribed personalized notes to both Orange and Christy outlining the ways that they had hurt me, I was interrupted by my manager, Jenny Baker. She handed me items for a care package that she was sending to her son in Afghanistan and asked if I could find a suitable box to ship the package. Among the things she was shipping was a pocket scripture booklet titled Hope and Comfort from God's Word. I delicately opened the book, and the first passage read, "They that sow in tears shall reap in joy." I instantly knew that this scripture was meant for me. I realized that Orange and Christie's date was a sign of all the riches that I was going to earn through espresso. With new vigor, I walked to Borders, and I was there to find the how to market wisely book, and I gently put the pocket scripture in my side pocket of my purse to ensure that there were no imperfections. Because I want to frame this as a reminder of how I almost lost sight of my own career and riches because of this silly little date between two people who were decidedly not worth another minute of my time. I also took two tubes of chapstick that Jenny was shipping to her son and replaced them with 2 boxes of paper clips. While I was at the bookstore, I stumbled upon the most wonderful book titled How to Dress for Success. I know I made the right choice in purchasing this book rather than a marketing book, because in this book, I not only learn about marketing, but it also teaches me how to market my best product. Me. October 1st, my manager Jenny called me in her office today. The grouch asked me what made me think it was okay to spend all my time focusing on my sticker idea. She told me to take the auto attendant off the phone and start answering calls. I returned to my desk somber, and I remained so for the rest of the day. I immediately left at 5 p.m., but not before I printed out proper etiquette for a front office receptionist and placed it on Jenny's desk. I also mindfully added that a sour receptionist can have far-reaching consequences on a company. October 2nd. I had a meeting with my human resource representative this morning. I was handed an official notice for insubordination. Another ignoramus with whom I've had the displeasure of working. I spent the rest of the day absorbing what everyone around the office was wearing. When Espresso has its own offices, every employee will be required to have a wardrobe consultation. October 4th. I'm crawling out of my skin with disgust and humiliation. I had intercepted a text sent to my best friend Tamar from Orange, inviting her over to his house to watch Project Runway. This questionable text arrived while Tamar and I were lunching, and Tamar was in the ladies' room while I was waiting at the table for a check to arrive. So I gracefully reached over to her phone when the text alert sounded, and I read the biddens and then patiently waited for my invitation, but the text never arrived. I shall be keeping my eyes and ears open around Tamar, as my intuition tells me that she is running with the foxes and hunting with the hounds when it comes to Orange. This morning, I saw an advertisement for Nita's Place, a female teen help center. I believe I possess the courage and strength to counsel someone through the darkest of times. I called the center when I returned home from the beauty salon, and I requested a meeting with their CEO or equivalent. I have set up a meeting for Thursday. I'm both excited and nervous, as I have never met a real-life CEO before. I'm also considering wearing a more modern outfit rather than a more traditional suit to prove that I can relate to teenagers. In order to show my youth and individuality, I've decided that I'm going to wear a decorative scarf with a red blouse rather than an ivory blouse that How to Dress for Success recommends. I'm absorbing How to Dress for Success very quickly. Pretty soon, I shall be writing the updated version of the book. I already know that if I do write a book for power dressing, I will use my full name, Iris Elizabeth Cutter. October 6th. I spent the night spying on Orange and Christie. I'm totally revolted at the pace at which their relationship is blossoming. After stalking their Facebook pages at work, I was able to uncover that they were meeting up in Wicker Park for pizza. I left work a tad early in order to ensure that I was deep undercover by the time the two lovebirds arrived. And guess what? I can safely say that Orange's behavior was sickening. He took like 30,000 pictures of Christy, and she had a trashy pose for each and every photograph. They kissed as though they were like the only ones in the family-friendly establishment. At one point, I truly believed that they might tear each other's clothes off, and I felt deeply embarrassed for them. But you know what? I'm devastated. I have no answers as to why Orange is doing this to me. Has he forgotten about all those years we were together? Has he forgotten about how we lost our virginity to one another at our senior homecoming? Or how I let him violate my body at every single movie we ever went to? Although we have separated several times since we began our love affair in 7th grade, I silently resolve that I will never, ever take him back, no matter how much he begs. The trauma of this situation has left me too hurt, too broken. Christy is one of the most vile people I have ever met. Her face is hideous. I would rather swim in an insipid pool of both seminal and digestive secretions than look at her. Thank you.
Oh my God. Wow, that was great. Thank you so much, Linda. I think that was a journey for everybody. I am still thinking about how she sent paper clips to Afghanistan. It's the saddest part for me. Let's everybody please give a round of applause for Linda or in the chat. Now it's time to hear from my lovely co-host and co-creator of this event, Sarah Ashley.
Hi. I'm never going after Linda again because that was really funny. Thank you so much. This is a piece that I don't have a title for yet, but here we go. My husband and I recently bought a new couch. It's from Joybird and is the most expensive thing we've ever bought together, except for our Sleep Number mattress. I'm not bragging, I'm just being honest. The couch is huge. It's a sectional that's like 7 feet long with big wide cushions and enough room for both of us to lay down fully. One on the chaise part, one on the couch part without touching. I'm not a prude, I'm just being honest. The new couch is covered in a tweed-like heather gray fabric. We picked this fabric even though we knew our cats would want to stick their pointy claws into it, but we figured we'd be able to keep them from doing that even though they are animals who do not take orders, and we are humans who wake up with neck cramps because we didn't want to move the cats off our pillows as we fell asleep. The Sleep Number mattress kind of helps with the neck cramps, which is nice. I don't work for Sleep Number. I'm just being honest. The new couch has some quirks, and I can't tell if I love it or not, which is a really hard thing to admit, even for me, an honest person. You see, it cost so much money, and we sat on so many different couches during our search that it pains me to think we may have picked the wrong one. One of the quirks is that it isn't broken in yet, so some of the cushions are kind of stiff. Another quirk is that some of the cushions feel very broken in, like someone with a huge ass had been sitting on it for a couple days straight before it was delivered to us. A third quirk is that we don't have any throw pillows. So right now it's just an enormous concrete-looking slab of furniture sitting in our living room with zero personality. And if you know me, you know I have a personality and I want my couch to reflect that. I'm not being arrogant, I'm just being honest. And for the record, this couch is a huge upgrade. The couch we had before belonged to my husband's friend's ex-girlfriend's dad and was definitely built in the 1970s or even way before. It was gold corduroy and coming apart at the seams. All of the cushions were lumpy, and you had to punch them regularly to redistribute the lumps around the inside of the cushion. And all the cushions had real metal zippers on them, holding the lumpy foam inside. And if you brushed up against the zipper too hard, it scraped your arm. The wooden frame and rusty springs creaked and boinged when you sat on it. We spent most of 2020 sitting and constantly readjusting on it, carelessly holding glasses full of Cabernet and bowls full of curry. When our cat scratched it, we cheered and took pictures because it was cute. It was a great napping couch. I'm not crying, you're crying. Joybird has a 90-day return policy, which is nice of them, except they make you pay for shipping and a 10% restocking fee, which, like, who has the time to figure that out? The thing is, I think I do like this couch, but because of how much money we spent on it, I feel like I should be obsessed with it. Instead, I'm just comparing every teeny tiny thing about it to our old couch, which was literally shedding foam and too small for two grown adults to lounge on comfortably. I'm not whining, I swear. I'm just trying to come to terms with the fact that this is our life now. The old is out, the new is in, and we're not allowing ourselves to drink wine on this thing until we read the instructions on how to care for the fabric, which we're not going to read until it's too late and something has already spilled. And we're okay with that. We're grateful to have something soft to sit on. My theme for 2021 is upgrade. I genuinely enjoy hitting the reset button at the start of a new year. It makes me feel fresh, like a molting snake or a harsh exfoliant. Get rid of last year's dry skin and move forward with a modern glow. Even if the first few rungs on the upgrade ladder land me on stiff cushions, at least I'm not still sitting on rusty springs saying, someday we'll get a new couch. Like a wuss who doesn't know how to follow through. 2021 won't be perfect, but I will be upgrading wherever possible. And I'm not being metaphorical. I'm literally being honest. Thank you so much. All right, everybody, it has come time to our final reader of the evening, your lovely host for tonight, Gina DeLuca.
Thank you, Sarah. Let's please give Sarah and all of our readers a round of applause tonight. This was such a good night. I'm really happy that you guys all watched, and thank you all to all the readers who submitted this month. Please submit next month if you want to read. We are always taking submissions, so you can expect to see us here again on the first Sunday of the month. So whatever the first Sunday of the month is in February, we will be back here. And also stay tuned for those announcements if you'd like to take a workshop with us. Okay, so I apologize. I know I say this every month, but this is something I've read before. But I wrote this for a show called The Love Actually Show. And so if you've ever seen Love Actually, maybe you'll appreciate this. This is a plot summary of the couple in Love Actually. Jamie and the guy who his wife cheats on him, and Aurelia, that Portuguese lady. So this is a plot summary of their romance. Jamie is a white man in his early 40s. He is unforgivably out of shape for someone who does not appear to work and has no kids. He lives in an impeccably clean and well-decorated residence with his younger, hotter wife. One day, on his way to his friend's wedding, his wife feigns sickness and does not join him. "Did I mention that I love you?" Jamie asks her when he leaves, and rather than return the sentiment, she says, "Get out, loser." It is the most honest with him she has ever been. Jamie returns home between the ceremony and the reception to see if she is feeling better, and finds that his wife is cheating on him with his younger, hotter brother. Cuckolded, Jamie legs it to the French countryside to get over his now ex-wife by writing a crime novel, no doubt about murdering women. His shifty neighbor, an older, sweet-looking French woman, shows up with some cheap labor from Portugal. Her name is Aurelia, and she looks trafficked. The French neighbor introduces them, and we can assume later collects her finder's fee. We soon learn that Jamie lives like a hog in shit, and it's Aurelia's job to clean up after him every day of the week just to maintain a basic level of habitability. We now understand why his marriage went south. His dopey English charm, unable to offset the pure crazy making that leaving his greasy fisherman sweaters on the floor will do to a spouse as fit, hot, and young as his ex. Fed up with mothering her smelly, idle husband, she executed every one of her affairs in their marital bed. Aurelia serves her captor a cup of tea after he made her carry a typewriter out to his gazebo earlier that morning. As he is typing, she moves a mug acting as a paperweight for his manuscript, and the stack of pages blows into the pond. She is so fearful of upsetting her captor that she attempts to prove her worth by risking her life to save his book. Jamie is absolutely leveled by the sight of his servant undressing in front of him, and so thrown by her loyalty to dive into a frigid pond for the sake of his art that he falls in love with her. He decides he should help so as not to appear weak in front of his serf, and jumps into the pond as well, having not worked out in 13 years, the last time the cicadas emerged from the ground. Jamie is the only person Aurelia feels safe with in France, and she soon falls in love with her captor, drawn to his bewildering harmlessness. After this episode, Aurelia launders both her wet clothes and his. Jamie dresses himself in a dry, clean shirt. Jamie does not offer Aurelia a shirt, and rather than ask her captor for one, she finds a blanket to cover her naked, shivering body, which she works in for the rest of the day until her undergarments dry in the cold French sun. Jamie drives Aurelia home at the end of every day. Judging by where he drops her off, it is clear she lives in an encampment on the side of the highway. "It is the saddest part of my day," Aurelia tells Jamie, and it is not difficult to understand why. Aurelia evades placement in another home after Jamie returns to England and finds her way back to Portugal, back to the father who sold her. He immediately puts her to work at a restaurant where she waits tables 7 days a week for a boss who keeps half her wages as the cost of letting her work there. She realizes that her only means of escape is education and begins learning English, determined to put her life together. Jamie returns to England and obsesses about Aurelia, with whom he has not stayed in touch. After several days of living on his own, he ensures that his new residence is no longer fit for humans and decides he must find and keep Aurelia. Ironically, the same Englishman who exploited her cheap labor the first time rescues her from the man who keeps her indentured the second time. Aurelia's situation is horrific, which is the only reason she could possibly agree to marry the deranged man who flew to Portugal with no luggage and proposed to her at work. At the end of the movie, the couple boards a plane to England on the same flight as the Prime Minister, who evidently uses the regular airport. Aurelia notices Jamie's hot friends, flagging them away for later when she too gets fed up with his filthy lifestyle and wants to feel like a woman again, thereby completing the cycle, Jamie never realizing that he's the common denominator in all his failed relationships. And I guess that's it. I thought I had a third page, but that's it. Okay, thank you very much, everybody. That is our show. So, enjoy the rest of your Sunday night. Let's again give it up for all of our readers. And Sarah.
I just want to say thank you to everybody too. Gina and I are so lucky to have great readers and people who enjoy watching the show.
Okay, great. We will see you next month at the same spot.